Hello, my name is Brad Seal, and I am doing a video series called Know Your Job Seeker, where I review the multiple personality and assessment tests that I've both taken and given over the years, and decide what did they say about me, were they accurate, and how did they deliver their information. And today we're doing something a little different because it's the holiday season now, and nobody wants to think about work, so I'm going to take an assessment test that is probably the most well-known one worldwide, and it's definitely the most magical one. I am going to review the Harry Potter sorting hat assessment. Now, for those of you who do not know who Harry Potter is, I guess, or haven't followed it, or don't have kids that followed it, or maybe have been living under a rock for the past 20 years, here's a quick review. Harry Potter, British kid, found out he was a wizard. Got invited to go to a wizarding school called Hogwarts. When you go to Hogwarts, your first year there, they bring you in, they put a hat on your head like an old witch's cap. It's a magical cap that naturally sorts you into who your authentic self is and puts you into one of four houses that represents that quality about you. So there are four houses. There's Gryffindor, which is all about bravery, almost foolhardiness. That's where Harry and all of his friends got sorted into. You have the Hufflepuff house. They're the healers, they're the hard workers, they're very inclusive. You have the Ravenclaw. Those are the smart kids, the thinkers. I shouldn't say the smart kids. They're the thinkers who like puzzles, who like riddles, who like to think things through. Lots of scholars in that house. And then you have Slytherin, which if you've seen the movies, Slytherin is like the evil house, but in reality, apparently, they're just resourceful. They are intelligent. They are win at all costs. That's who the Slytherin house is. So those are the four houses. And in Harry Potter, they just stick the hat and it goes through it and goes, you belong in this house. But what we have is Time Magazine, of all things, has a web page that has a sorting hat quiz on it. And it's built just like, I would say like the Myers-Briggs. It's like that forced choice type of test, where it'll give you a statement like something like, I see myself as disorganized, and then you can either strongly agree with it, or strongly disagree with it, or go somewhere in between there, and it gives you a whole list of these kind of questions, and when you get to the end, it sorts you into these houses. And the cool thing is, it doesn't just say, hey, you're this one. It gives you percentages, so maybe you're 30% Gryffindor, but you're 25% Slytherin, and 23% Hufflepuff. Whatever. It gives you the percentages, so maybe you're right in between two of them, like me. I'm almost neck and neck Ravenclaw and Gryffindor, so I'm a Gryffindor or a Ravendor. We'll go with Gryffindor. So I guess you can just pick if you're right between those two. So I picked Ravenclaw because I look better in blue. But here's the cool thing. Obviously, I'm not expecting you to do this and take anything from it except a neat little, hey, I belong in that house. But there's also a website called Wizardmore, and it just has a bunch of different sorting quizzes on there, and they're really interesting questions. So apparently, there is a wizarding school in America. I didn't know that. It's called Ilvermorny. And they also sort kids into four houses. They just use different criteria to sort them. So they have a sorting house for that. And I took it, just curiosity, and there was actually some real head-scratcher questions in there that make you think a little bit, very philosophical. So like, for instance, one of the questions they gave me was, which would you choose if you could only have one? So that's the question. Which would you choose if you could only have one? And they have a whole series of answers. The power to cure one illness worldwide. That's pretty topical today. The power to eradicate one quality from all humans. The power to know the answer to any single question. The power to change one day in your future. The power to change one day in your past. The power to make one person impervious to harm. If you're a parent of an only child, that might be one that sticks out to you. Or the power to bring one person back from the dead. That's a little too pet cemetery for me, but it might change something. But those are some real head-scratcher questions. There's three of those that I could think about really and consider if I could only have one. So it's the holiday season, but it's also 2020, so a lot of you might be social distancing with your family or loved ones, or only a few of you in the house. This might be something to do while you're doing so, because it gives you some real interesting questions to consider, and it's a good discussion topic. Plus, you get to find out what house you land in, whether you're doing the Ilvermorny one or the Hogwarts one, or I don't know. They've got other things like what wand would you have or something like that. It's something to do. So in conclusion, we unfortunately do not have a magical cap that we can stick on people's heads and it will give us their true, authentic self. How cool would that be? But we do have these little assessment quizzes that you probably won't use in your job, but you could use it during your social distancing holiday of 2020. So with that, I wish you all the most magical of holiday seasons. My name is Brad Seal. Have a happy holidays.